damn! So yeah, these Indian-made brown vest muskets are definitely worth it. Go ahead, man. You're on show right now. You're showing off right now. So first,
don't put anything in the barrel.
The tail at the enemy. Prime first. Be sure to put your cock on half cock.
You already got it loaded.
Load, which I already loaded one. I'm gonna put the paper in there just so you can see this process. Load hammer. Bounce, it's good. Go to full cock.
Hit it. Are you done?
Hi everybody, Vermont Survivalist here. And this video has been requested by Stephen Ray. And he wanted to know if I can make a flintlock video. Yes, bro, I can. Thanks for the request, brother. I appreciate it. So here we go. Why don't we dive right into it? So I have two different types of flintlocks to show you, my friend. One is the smoothbore. This is the Middlesex Village Trading Company Longland Brown Bess musket. And this is what I featured in one of my other videos, is the Penasoli Blue Ridge traditional long rifle. Now, there's two differences with these two. Is the Brown Bess here, that's smoothbore, and then the traditional long rifle, holy fuck, is a rifled musket. The rifled musket is a lot slower to load due to the rifling, and the smoothbore is more versatile than the rifle. Where the rifling's stuck doing rifle stuff, long range, taking long range pop shots. The smoothbore, you know, granted you only have a max range of 75 to 50 meters, but you can load this a lot faster, and you can use different types of loads for it. And also both of them have some very similar awesome features to it. We'll get into that a little bit later in the video. All right, so why don't we go through the lock itself? Well, first, why don't we go through some of the tools that you'll be using quite a bit. This is a ball starter. This end you would push, get the ball ready, and this end you would push the ball into the barrel to get it going there. This right here is a turn screw / prick. This is another style turn screw / prick, but this also has a napping hammer on it. This is a priming flask. That comes in handy. This is another style priming flask. You can use this for rifles, for long muskets, but you can also use it for flintlock pistols. This is a powder measure right here. This comes in handy. Tells you what your charge is going to be. Generally, I run 80 grains. This is another type of powder measure that you can use, and this is another type of powder measure you can use. And the good thing about this is that everything's already pre-packed. So you would have your ball, and you also have your wadding. A brush. You'll be using a brush quite a bit. You can use civilian brushes or this long brush here. A patch knife. That comes in handy for the patch. Some sort of patch cloth. Patch cloth can be anything from cotton, bed ticking. They also have pre-set diameter patch cloths. You can also use green leaves. Yes, you can use green leaves or some sort of leafy material. I've used ferns, I use green leaves, some sort of patch cloth in a pinch. Okay, so also rubbing alcohol. If you need to give your lock a once over, rubbing alcohol will be your best friend. You can use it inside your barrel, especially with a rifle, traditional long rifle. That gets pretty fouled up after you shoot it 2 or 3 times, and you won't be able to get your ball in. So my suggestion is clean with rubbing alcohol. And as you see, I got some powder flask up here. I got a horn. I got one powder flask. This is a Zouave flask. And this right here is, I forget what type of flask this is, barrel flask or whatever. And this has an 80 grain spout, pre-measured spout on it. So why don't we get into the lock? Okay, so this is the bread and butter right here of your fire lock, flat out. You will be paying attention to this lock more than anything. Obviously you want to pay attention when you load it. Have your own system, like a ramrod, or keep your ramrod in, so that means you know what I mean? So you know it's loaded. So when you load it, keep your ramrod in there. So you'll know that, oh, I've used my ramrod, it's loaded, or some shit like that. You'll find, or mark your ramrod. There's many different systems that you can use. But this right here is your bread and butter, okay? You will be definitely paying attention to everything that goes on with this lock. How you treat this lock is going to dictate how this weapons platform is going to operate. Flat out. So if you treat this lock like shit, then guess what? It's going to tell you. If you make this lock happy, it's going to let you know. So Flintlocks are very, very touchy. Very, very touchy. So why don't we get into it? This right here, well, this right here is the cock. Yes, the cock. Okay. On the cock is a turn screw up here. This is the jaws on the cock. This is a piece of leather. And this is a piece of flint. And this is your firing mechanism right here. So, what would happen is cock this back. There you go. As you saw, you heard 2 clicks there. That is, oh, there we go. That's half cock and then full cock. Up top here, we have the frizzen or hammer. This hammer, there's 2 purposes for the hammer. There's one, when you push back the cock on the half cock, and when you prime your pan. So why don't we prime our pan? Now, we don't want to put too much powder in there, because that's when you get the big fireball coming out. That should be good. Just like that. And from a distance, you can see that's really not that much. All right, so one purpose of it interrupted. So one purpose of it is for the strike face, but the other purpose of it is to hold that powder inside the pan. And as you see, and you could be running and that powder ain't gonna go anywhere. Trust me, bro. So after it's on a half cock, you put your priming powder in. Priming powder in. And there we go. And then we shut the pan. And then we put it on full cock. And then here we go. Oh, well, of course. Yep. I think some of that powder went inside the... Oh, Jesus. Yeah, welcome to Flintlocks, right? So that's it. And then what you would do is that you would take your brush here, and this will be the whole thing right here, what you just saw. And getting used to doing this. You'll get used to doing this. I'm not going to put that much in there. Oh, I don't want to put that much in there. This is it right here, man. Cleaning out the pan. Another problem you may run into is maybe some debris inside your touch hole right here. And this right here is your touch hole. Okay. Your vent. You use your vent pick here and you clear out. Now, there's such thing as a delayed fire, or the hang fire. That can happen. So after you fire it, even your pan sparks. Don't keep on target. Sometimes it's a fizzle fire. You'll hear it. It goes, you know, take right off. Yeah, actually, I have a video of that, so I'll show it to you. It's basically a fizzle fire. All right, so let's see here. What else? What else can I go about the lock here? You want to make sure that this lock is nice and shiny and rust free, not like what I just did right here. You know, you see the rust. You want to make sure this hammer here, the frizzen, you want to make sure that this is shiny, clean, buffed out. You know what I mean? It looks immaculate. Okay. Also, you want to make sure that underneath your flint here is cleaned off. So while you're brushing this, you know what I mean, you're getting this all brushed off and all that stuff. Definitely get underneath your flint. Other problems that you may have, firing problems, is the flint's not set right. You'll be playing with your flints, especially a flint that you just put in. You'll be toying around with it and messing around with it. So let's see here. What else could happen? If any moisture, you don't want to keep your musket loaded overnight. In other words, you don't want to keep stuff in the pan overnight. Black powder has a habit of sucking up moisture, so keep that in mind. It's the same thing as after you're done shooting. You want to clean your musket or your firelock. You want to clean it right after you get done shooting, because I'll tell you this right now, if you let that shit sit there, it will collect moisture and you'll have a pile of sludge in your chamber, and that would suck. And then that pile of sludge will get encrusted, and it'll just be caked right on there. It'll be like cement. It's hard to get out afterwards. So immediately clean it. You can use hot water. You can use rubbing alcohol, or you can just break apart this whole thing, which I usually do after 4 or 5 cleanings through hot water. I use burning hot water over a fire or some shit like that, and you would pour it down the barrel, and then you would open this bad boy up, and right when that thing starts coming out clear, you'll know you're good. I would take it off the wood. I would just use the barrel. But if you just don't have time to do that, then you know you could do it with the stock. It's just that the water gets inside the stock and fucking starts fucking with shit. So that definitely sucks. What else? What else can I go on? So I don't know if you can see that line right there. That is the barrel lug. So that's where the lug will go in, where it screws into the barrel. So that will tell you right there. It can be twisted off. The field strip this, it's pretty easy. Field strip it. All you need to do is just take off these screws. The lock plate screws, this will come off. That's pretty much it for field stripping. And there you go. Inside the lock itself, you'll have your mainspring, your trigger sear, all that shit. That's more of an advanced video. Now, everything I just said with this lock right here, and the reason why I use this lock instead of this lock, is this lock's bigger. So, and this one thing's different here. You got this flash guard right here. They don't call them Flintlocks for nothing. But everything that I said about this lock also pertains to the rifle musket. So let's see here. What else? For some advanced tooling, we have a mainspring vise right here. This comes in handy to change out your mainsprings. You can always tell that your mainspring is broken because this will be flapping around. You'll have no tension whatsoever. You'll just be dead. Here's another type prick. You can use any slender piece of steel as a prick. Hold on, there we go. As a prick. Go clear out that vent hole. You know what I mean? So what can happen that will prevent the flintlock from firing? You can get this little thing called descaling. It's a plumbing term, but I use it. What descaling is, you get debris and stuff, some caked on debris inside your barrel, and then when you're loading it up, when you use the ramrod, it will block the touch hole right there. So it will block the black powder, your charge. So when you put it in the pan, it won't go off. So that's why it's good to prick it every time too. So not only are you going to be using this bad boy to clean off all the debris you can, you're also going to prick it immediately afterwards. Okay, so there's two different types of ramrods. You've got the wooden ramrod here. Most long rifles I've seen has wooden ramrods. And then the musket, the smoothbore muskets, the military style muskets, always have to have a metal ramrod. Don't ask me why. I mean, the military, they were just like, yeah, we want metal ramrods. We'll break the civilian ones. All had wooden. That's military requirements. So what else? I ran through the patch cloth. Did I run through the patch cloth? Yeah, I ran through the patch cloth. I think I ran through the flask here. That's all set. The shooting bag. Okay, so your shooting bag is what you're going to keep everything here to keep this operating. You're going to have everything in this. It's like a fucking purse, okay? So as you see up front here, I got like a fucking thing full of jigs, all that shit. I got a pot of grease in there. These little tins right here for percussion caps are fucking awesome. You can repurpose them. And then you have the capper and all that shit. On the back here, I got a flint wallet. You would definitely need a flint wallet. Get extra flints. Scotch-Brite pad. Shine up those hammers there. Well, the frizzen. Extra parts. Some bore cleaner. That comes in handy. And again, if you're having issues firing, don't hesitate. Rubbing alcohol, mineral spirits, something flammable, something that will evaporate. You know what I mean? That will definitely come in handy. So to load it. Okay. Here we go. So my suggestion also is to get this style jig. And you can use baby wipes inside this jig to clean the bore and also to clean your lock, to keep the fouling down. And that's the name of the game. Try to keep that fouling down, because that fouling gets in there, makes everything stick and shit like that. Baby wipes will really can help that out. So that can be another thing in your arsenal. All right, to load the musket, what you're going to do is a 9-count process. You have your paper cartridge or your cartridge. I'm just going to use a paper cartridge. You're going to tear it off. Pour the powder in there. Push the contents of the cartridge in there. You're going to ram it all home. Return rammer. Prime pan. Of course, in reenactments, this is a little bit different. You would actually prime pan first. And make sure it's on half cock. Go to full cock. Ready. And then go half cock. We'll do it military reenactment style. Prime pan. Go. Load. We'll put the cartridge in. Load it all home. Return rammer. This is the most important part right here. Returning the ramrod. Half cock, full cock. And you'll run into that prison. See what I'm doing here? I'm like brushing off, cleaning off the flint. This is the reality. Perhaps, maybe, not that much priming powder. There we go. That was it. So there we go, guy. I don't know what else to do to show you. But loads. So there's different types of loads. There's buck and ball, and you use regular slugs, and you can use different loads for even the rifle. For some rifled muskets. I know the 1853, I can actually use that as a shotgun too. To get around, actually, for the rifle, and to get around the fouling of the musket itself, you can actually load them separately, and depending on the size of the ball, it'll be tight enough where it'll still grip the rifle in. And like I said, for patch cloths, you can use green leaves. I've actually used that. So, yeah. Flintlocks, man, you know, they're fun. They're fun. But if you keep them in storage like I did, you know, well, not storage, but just tucked away in a corner, like, they need attention, you know, and they really do need attention. This thing's giving me an attitude, but when I was actually paying attention, which I'm going to start. I need to start paying attention to these more. But when this thing was just full, you know, had my full attention, they ran flawless. And how you treat them is what you're going to get out of it. So you got to keep that in mind, flat out. And if you treat the fucker right, keep her nice and clean, you know, keep her happy, she's gonna keep you happy. So it's 90% of it. It's not the musket's fault. The musket's doing the lock is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's the user. So this will definitely, it can frustrate you, but then again, you know, you could have a great time shooting it. So pay attention to the lock itself, and yeah, you'll be all right. So I hope that helped you out, man. I'm sorry it's not like I'm not fucking blasting rounds and all that stuff. Unfortunately, I can't. It's at the moment. Vermont survivalists. Good to go. Oh yeah.